pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. First item of business is the approval of the January 22nd study session minutes.
I do have a question on that, or probably more of a point. On your new business one, this says that we voted for private parties to be exempt, I guess, from the Hudson zone, but it was actually to be exempt from that whole section. Okay. From that 245 spot 070.
Got it, I'll make a note, I'll change it.
And I'm sure we'll possibly discuss more. That's all.
Motion approved as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, sir. Next up, payment of the bills.
Move to pay the bills. Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next up, public comments.
Hello, this is, I've lived in Buckner a long time. My name is Stephen Day, and we recently had a fire at my home, totally unexpected. I was there and I kind of explained to everyone what happened, but I was just there gonna fix my wife's car. It had a problem with the axle. So I was cleaning out one of the garages, and all of a sudden my shop lights in the garage went off, which I thought that was really weird. So I went in there to the breaker box and opened up the breaker box, and the breakers were tripping. So that was really weird. So I shut off the main, called up the fire department, and told them what was going on. And as soon as I got the main shut off, I could hear the fire up in that attic. No smoke, no flame or anything. And of course he was coaching me, who else is in the house, and I got the dogs out, and told me to get out of there, but I have four big fire extinguishers that take the air out of the atmosphere, which will slow the fire down. And he was getting on his way down there, but they're right there by me on Hostetter's. And so I just stood right there because the attic stairs opened up all by themselves. It was so weird. I see the flame up in there and everything, and I just started dumping those big fire extinguishers up there, and it was sucking from right there, and it was slowing it down. The fireman told me I did a really good job because I slowed the fire down by taking the air away from it until they could roll the hoses in there and start spraying. So pretty much saved the dogs, saved the house. We've been going through a crazy thing because we can't find a place to live. And we're living in a apartment. Well, it's a hotel, and it's been really hard on us because that's hard living like that. I mean, everybody's moving, leaving, coming, and going. So what I've been going through with I've got really good coverage with farmers. Everything's taken care of, but they can't find us a place to live. And there was an option where they'll bring a 30-foot motorhome travel trailer and hook it all up and everything. So there's an ordinance in the city about doing that, but I'm actually here for like an emergency temporary. They're saying about 6 months before the house is completely rebuilt. And they put in a temporary hole in the backyard for the fire for whoever needs to use the power, like they're building the house and everything. They did that today. So I'm just begging that I can get a temporary, okay to stay there. And I'm there with the house garden because I've heard they get robbed when you're away from places. And that's what I'm here for.
They're gonna hook you to the sewer, or how you gonna work?
Yeah,
that?
everything just like it would be on the power pole and the water. And I would like to get a new water meter. Even if I have to pay for it, I'd like to have a new water meter.
Is this the ordinance for the concrete slab?
Yeah, it'll be on that first concrete
The
slab right there.
The rocks next to it, the third part of the house you did not get.
No, it's got to be on the concrete.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically the part of the ordinance she wants to, okay.
I think, Mr. Posey, you called on that particular, because I was thinking there was something about not having it. And I'm not saying that that's the reason not to do it, but I was thinking there's currently something that precluded you from being in front of the house. I thought it had to be behind the front line of the house.
Sure. Candidly, I don't have our municipal code book memorized, so I don't know exactly the ordinance we're talking about. I'm happy to take a look. The board is able to issue a temporary approval subject to final approval by city staff if they wanted to tonight, or we could try to turn around and get something back tomorrow once I do have a chance to look at the ordinance, but sitting here right now, I don't know.
I'm okay to move to approve.
I know in the ordinance it does allow for temporary units to allow something like this to happen, it was like 6 months or so.
Yeah.
I know that's, I can't tell you what section that's in, but I know even now.
But pending board approval,
Yeah.
so that I don't just put something in my front yard.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve it.
Any additional discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
Praise Jesus.
I'll catch up with Joe and they'll get you a permit.
They're getting it approved through the insurance right now, and they're going through the steps they initially have to do to pay for it, and then get it here. So it'll probably be a week, maybe, or less.
So it'll give you time to get the document together with the break room.
Why don't you give Joe your phone number so he can get in
Oh, I
contact?
got it.
So Joe has it, okay.
Yeah. We brought up the
Yeah, just
check,
check.
watch over them boys, make sure it doesn't disappear.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Everybody.
Thank
Praise
you all.
God.
Good luck.
Okay, we're all right, we got Jesus. He's always with us.
Thank you, guys.
That's my wife. Jill.
Any other comments?
We just want to say from the Small Business Development Group that we appreciate that you guys are considering looking at the food truck ordinance, and that we're also excited. Ben came over and volunteered to serve on the Small Business Development Group as a liaison with the city. So we're super excited to see what we can do together to make things better for Butler. So thank you.
Anyone else? All right, next up, old business. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the food truck ordinance. Somebody might have something.
I'd like to make a proposal, and then I guess you guys can discuss it, but, I'd like to propose that we leave the 200 feet on 24 to protect the businesses that Jimmy and I talked
I
to.
think they hear you in the back, and I can't hear you over here.
Yeah, oh, that's the other thing, our mics are broken, so that's why we don't have. Can you hear me now? I'm a teacher, so I should be able to do that. So I'm proposing to leave it 200 feet on 24 for the restaurants that want some kind of protection. I would like to propose it to open up Hudson, like you asked, but to designate the parking in the parking lot. Also, like to put in 1 day a month with the option if you had something else come up that you really needed, because somebody else already took that it goes through the mayor. So that gives you some flexibility, but it gives you a restricted ordinance, but some flexibility. And the private versus public was already taken care of last week. So I'm not sure what you meant by the loading zone, so in your
Loading zones, I gotta remember, what, can you read what it says? Sorry.
Vending zones?
They would send
Sorry, I should have.
you had designated vending zone, establish the parking lot at the corner of Hudson and Adams Street as primary vending zone. Additionally, create an application process for small business to designate temporary mobile loading zones on their own property. Is that already covered under the private versus public?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And we truly want to use that parking lot as well. I mean, I'm glad, and I think might have to be somewhere to load or unload, but they'll mainly then stay in that spot. So that's why the 200 feet had to go away for.
Understand, understand.
So, and I agree with what you said there. I think the private covers it, like if the bank wanted to have one and have it at their bank, then that's a private thing. So I think that covers everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you, I appreciate that.
And is that one time a month per business or per? what's-
That's a collective, meaning all of them. Not, each one can't have one per month. So that'd be 12 total, but then they can have, they can
Pending
get,
approval, you could have more.
yeah, that's just the hard ordinance, and then, but it's up to the mayor if something else comes up.
Food for thought on that.
Give them a little flexibility.
Instead of once a month, just make it 12 in a calendar year, because you're gonna run into the dead of winter, there's not gonna be any, food trucks out there.
We could, but that could give them a lot for more,
Yeah.
that could open up,
They could do 12 weeks in a row.
They could, I think, it's more room.
yeah.
And then they're done.
But I think that'll cover it along with the option of the mayor okaying stuff.
I think this just gives them more flexibility to.
It's whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
I mean, this is just what I felt. So,
But essentially, we're creating a new zone on 24 Highway to keep the 200.
not really, we're just taking the 200 out of this zone. It was already up there.
Yeah, it already existed.
Well, but they took the Hudson Street zone out completely.
Yeah.
And the-
So what we'll have to do is just designate the 200 for now 24, I think.
Well, that's actually 24507.
Yeah, I thought it was already there.
I thought it was about 200 feet.
I thought you said it was already there. It just won't be affected down here.
But that includes the whole town.
True.
And he's wanting to just make it.
We just.
But only accepting
Yeah, we just
former, yes, sir.
Yeah, just want to clear up, what we could do is, you could still keep the 200-foot distance requirement and lay it over the entire town. If you also establish this parking lot as a vending zone, you could have both essentially, it just wouldn't protect Bad to the Bone, because Bad to the Bone is within 200 feet, but if you designated that as an approved vending zone, you could do that and still have the 200-foot requirement. It just wouldn't benefit Bad to the Bone, since they would be that close to a approved vending zone, but they'd be approved to vend there anyway, so to speak. So 200 feet would still apply throughout the city. It just wouldn't matter, since that would be a designated or approved space for food trucks to be allowed to vend.
That'd be a little cleaner too.
Yeah.
You would not want to only have the 200-foot distance requirement for a part of the city. That would look like,
Okay.
some sort of business discrimination, or, it's better to have it overlay the entire city and then just pick spots where you specifically do allow food trucks, which I had in my notes also a discussion of, do you want to make the parks an approved vending zone? I understand sometimes there are food trucks at the parks in the summer. If we're creating approved vending zones, you should consider wherever there are food trucks operating now, making those, if you're okay with it, approved vending zones as well.
Yes.
The park already is. The park is not included in the areas that did not allow it before.
It was outside the zone.
He's just putting language in there for approved zones, and he's just gonna add the part.
Yeah. That'd be good.
So you can work that up, and then we can sit in that next meeting.
He said we'll be meeting in March, first meeting in March.
Yeah.
I just have a quick question, and I don't want to open a can of worms here. But I'm looking at, so does this change anything for the festival? Will the
No.
festival then be the, okay, so it's just checking, okay?
No, the mayor will see to that for sure.
But it's a city event, so.
Yeah.
Food trucks are just allowed at city festivals. I mean, they are, obviously they have to be permitted, they have to be approved by the state, health and sanitary, but as far as citywide events go, food trucks are allowed to operate there. Any of these changes we're discussing would not impact that.
And we close the streets and allow,
Right.
yeah, so that's
And I don't mind sharing with the businesses, I just don't want to infringe on them either. So that's my only concern, you know?
And have we looked at the approval process? do we still want them to come to the meeting to request every event? Or is there a more streamlined way to do that?
I think once you've got the regulations spelled out, I would think that.
But as proposed right now, the mayor would have approval, if somebody wants to have a different event, they have to come to the mayor, and say, hey, can I have a food truck? I got such and such going on, I need a food truck.
But if it's happening on a random Tuesday
I
or
think it'd be like
Saturday,
a building permit or a business
Yeah.
license, I
Yeah.
come by and sign them. That's what I was doing, sign.
He will have time to approve, and only him.
Can I just ask for clarification? Like, if you say once a month, is it gonna be posted somewhere? Because how, like, maybe the bank is having an event, or the churches are having an event, and they booked a food truck, but then we're doing a third Thursday or something else, and we didn't know them. So how are we gonna know each month?
When you book yours, they'll know whether it's booked or not.
We can put it
So
on the
we
city,
still-
we can put it on the
we
city
need-
website calendar.
Yeah, you still gotta go through the
Yeah,
city hall.
like you said, I think private events won't
That would be
count
a private
towards that
event.
number, that's a
Unless
totally
they went
separate
to
number.
downtown.
But like, I know that the churches were talking about doing a Friday night film type thing in the summers. And they were doing it multiple times, and they may consider doing a food truck. Well, what if we planned I just wanted to know how we went about that. So then if they've already got it on the calendar, then we need to go to Joe to ask, so it'd go through the mayor to see if we could have an additional event. I'm just getting clarification.
But, I mean, that just depends if they have it at their own private property, then it'd be a private event.
No, they wanted to do it
Oh, they
over,
want to do it in the church, in the parking lot?
yes, and then project the movie up on
Yeah.
the brick wall.
It'd be simple, you come to me and say, hey, this is what we want, and I'll let the mayor know, and the mayor would say yes, no, whatever.
What's the purpose of 12?
12 what?
12 events in a year, what does that solve for word protect? Why is it 12, why is it not 10 or 20 or 50?
There's 12 months in a year, and it just sounded
There's
pretty around.
365 days in a year.
Well, because initially, Tammy said once a month, and so I just went with that.
Okay, because if there are other businesses who want to do this, now we're creating a conflict.
Right, instead I was kind of illustrated there was that if, because you got similar but not identical interests, that, the Tammy Sue's wants to do something, but the bank wants to do something, they can't both do it in the same month. I mean, they can, but it's gonna confound it to the point that earlier when you was looking at 12 annually versus 3 a month or whatever. The weather, today would have been a great day if you went next week, sounds like.
That's American, okay, like 2 in 1 month, you can do that.
Why give him the burden to have to do that, we can just open it up more?
To keep it from, otherwise then we won't have any restrictions at all. And that's if you wanna vote that way, that's totally up to you.
Well, my question
I was
is,
just
what is it hurting to have more than 12? Where's the damage?
Well, I mean, that is just that's a number of restrictions to protect brick and mortars and meet their needs at the same time. Meet in the middle.
200-foot radius?
Meet in the middle. No, that's just on 24.
Right.
That's not gonna affect that, it's not gonna affect that zone at all, meaning they're not even protected under that.
So, one business.
And any future businesses.
Right. In which case we probably approve it.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if the group wanted to have collectively one a month, that's gonna be approved in the ordinance, or we can say, we're gonna have a food truck deal over here next week or whatever. That's collectively. As a group, we'll do that. If somebody else comes down and says, hey, we wanna do this movie on the wall, Mr. Box, is it okay if we have movie night down here this week? You have the ability and authority to be able to say yes or no. If we are saying collectively, we're gonna have food trucks down here, then next week, somebody else is collectively having food trucks, you have the ability to say, no, this is kind of conspiring to be able to do this weekly. That's not what we want. We want to be able to have it once a month, kind of at our discretion. Additionally, at your discretion, if it fits into the program that we're talking about here. Does that make sense?
That's exactly what I
Because
just said.
Daryl's able to approve that, right?
Yes, it is.
And that way, collectively, again, we can do it once a month without you all being able to say, no, you're not doing it. But then if we come up and say, hey, we had the food trucks for Ghouls Night Out, now we want to have one for back to school or something, you can say, well, I can see that's two separate things, and you agree to allow that. If not, we have a conversation on why and go from there. Does that kind of cover?
Yeah, we just have to get a master plan in place, and I think if we do it quicker, at least try to reserve some things, it will help. Because I do see, especially in the summer months, things just come up. Like, I think their idea of doing a community-wide film night is great.
Well,
And I think it's great to have a food truck with it, but they were talking about doing it every Friday. Well, that's 4 in 1 month, and that means we couldn't per se do something that month.
And
So that's where-
how we used to do it would say, hey, can we do, you'd come up to us and you'd say, can we do this, can we do that? And then we would say, well, are all the other businesses okay with it?
Yeah.
And you'd say yes, and boom, we'd okay it.
And the other thing.
That was how we used to do it, as long as we weren't infringing on everybody.
For sure.
If the
And that's
church- And if the church wanted to do theirs every Friday night, if they're gonna do that, they're probably, and I can't speak for them because I don't know this, it's probably gonna be free snow cones or free ice cream. It's not like they're gonna be down here selling stuff to take away from others, so just my thoughts on it.
Well, I think his idea with that film night was to have a food truck there available for people to have a meal. So
That
it
could
would
be,
selling.
okay.
So, but I don't know either.
But either way, that's kind of two different things from one.
It seems like this gives us at least some flexibility.
Yes.
Right.
And we could always adjust on the fly or change, give it a year, see how it goes, reevaluate if we need to add more and take over it, how it's being used.
We'll have more data to go on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think food trucks are lining up at our city limits, ready to get in here and blow it over.
Right.
So I think we'll probably be okay, but let's see how
Go
it goes.
slow and see what happens.
Yeah.
Mr. Posey, you have enough that you need to craft the ordinance?
I think so. I might have a few more conversations with Joe with that first meeting in March. I would plan to have substantial changes to this before you, that we can, and I'll be there at that meeting, that we can go take off one by one.
And would always ask if any kind of changes to do with line
Yeah.
see what changes.
That would be great. Sure. It's provide red line changes. Perfect.
Council, so are we designating the park like you would the corners for Claire's sake?
Yeah. Yes, our ordinance reads a little weird right now, where it says you can only vent in approved zones, and then the first thing we say after that is, but you can't vent in the Hudson Street. So what I'd like to do is, for easy sake, add the park for sure, because I think I saw a lot of nods. We all agree that it should just be an approved vending zone, that if a mobile food truck wants to operate in the park during the summer, they're allowed to do that. They don't need to come to mayor, they don't need to come to you all for approval for that. Whether or not you want to add the parking lot, I'll put that in as a red line change, and we can talk about that, and ultimately you may have to vote on that to decide if that's going to be a designated food zone, but yes, that would be the plan, push the parks and the parking lot here in there as approved vending zones, pending what your vote would be that first meeting in March.
One more thing to think about, remember they had the food truck during the summer months for the kids to have meals.
Right.
But that's-
That'll be in the park.
That was a-
Right, but I mean, is that still going to be, kind of against one of the sponsored events, or is that a special event?
No, because that's outside of the.
Think about,
Yeah.
parking in, parking.
Free food pay.
Yeah.
Free food pay. No. I don't think that'll have any bearing.
Yeah, I just wanted to bear down.
We'll move on to new business, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the finance officer. Joe, you included some stuff Margie was offering. You had a candidate.
Yeah, but they know, she left last Friday from AGH. She gave him a month's notice, she gave him notice back in December that she was leaving, she took on another position in another company. So, she didn't want to leave us high and dry, so for the last week, she had done all work for free because she didn't want to leave us. So, she gave us a number of another person who was a CPA. She knows the municipality, knows Enco, because she does the city of Greenwood, and she does a couple of small towns. She was from Adrian, Missouri, and she was willing to do the job, and she gave the resume, as a resume in the packet, and she's charging $175 an hour. Margie said that her job, her new job, she works from home, so she is willing to take us on as her own personal client. And she's said that she probably worked 25 to 38 hours a month, and she's charging $125 an hour, which is cheaper than what AGH was charging us.
And she doesn't have any kind of no compete or there's not.
No, yeah, she can do it, yeah, because AGH is still doing our payroll for us. They're gonna keep us on as their client, but her portion, which was bank reconciliations, the ACHs, the transfers and all that, that's what Margie would be doing. And then coming here once a month to do the reports, usually last,
And what are we paying AGH a month right now?
roughly, well, for the payroll portion of it, we pay like $4,000 a month, I was gonna say. And then for her service, we was paying close to 7, 8. Total, we was paying a total of like 12,000
12 total.
For the year.
a month. And after, I'm not exactly with those numbers, I can find out, and let you guys know.
So we're paying $180,000 a year for accounting? We were. That's what we pay for.
I'll double check those numbers.
Okay.
That sounds,
Okay, I
that
can't-
sounds high.
Yeah, that does sound.
That just sounds high.
Yeah. Well, I know, no, it's probably half that, because I know we was paying,
We're not
we was
working-
paying.
we're not paying
Yeah, we was
80 hours a day.
The last finance
40
officer
hours
was
a week.
paying us 55 a year, and this was gonna be cheaper than that. We
Okay.
hired him, so I'll give you better numbers. I'll email it, out better numbers.
Because, yeah, this is paying her $45,000.
Right, exactly.
Plus AGH, whatever we're paying AGH.
I'll give you guys better numbers, so I wasn't agree with that.
I don't think we have a choice, but.
I mean, I will say that, the finances, the reporting is a lot cleaner than what we've had in quite a while.
It is absolutely true.
You can follow
Yeah.
transactions that we had trouble with in the past.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh, sorry.
She doesn't think so. So are we pushing this off for, are we?
Yeah, we're gonna take our, we can get better numbers.
Yeah, we can just hold on this and give the details, but if I was having to decide, I would say stay with Martinsville with us.
Same.
Make sure that we've got the numbers. so-
Yeah, I'll approve it, I just want to know what we're paying.
Yeah, no, I think that's prudent.
I don't want to.
Right, so we'll get that. And next up, discussion, consideration, or possible action regarding Josh Lansdale's request for fireworks permit.
Where's that location?
32 South Sylvia Street. It's at the Buckner Town Hall, where we've been for 6 or 7
Recognize
years.
the name, but didn't remember the location.
Yeah.
What's your business name?
Snap, Crackle, and Boom.
Okay, I didn't want to insult you if that wasn't right.
No, that's fine, yeah, I get it. So, we've been there for 6 years, be our 7th. At the Buckner Town Hall, we're requesting, the opportunity to come back this year. This year is the 250th anniversary of America. So we do plan on having some additional things there this year, and we thought, I don't know if the food truck thing, would pertain to us, but we considered having, a food truck there, a couple of those days during the fireworks season. That season is June 20th through July 4th.
Is the food truck on your dime or is that on,
The food truck is on mine.
okay, I didn't.
And I'm not providing it for me, I mean, I have to pay the food truck to be there, right, so
But
they,
if I want to buy from private, it's on me.
that's right.
Okay, I just want to make
Yes.
sure that I'm generous you're going to be.
I'm not that generous.
Martin and Bottle Rockets ain't what it used to be.
That's right. So that's kind of our plan this year. You know, we do have our friends and family night, we do every year. It used to be on Tuesdays. We've been running it on Saturdays. Got a lot more people show up. It's been a really good event. Last year, I think we had 120 people come through the door. That's pretty good down here, so, pretty awesome, so.
I go in there every year, it's nice and air conditioned, and you don't have to worry about it being too hot, it takes away the cold, so. Motion to
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I did have a request from the board, I don't know, I mean, obviously there's no obligation, and I don't know if it'll work for council, so, next meeting on, I think it's scheduled right now to be the 4th, is that the Tuesday in March?
But the next thing is
Okay, well, it may
First
not
meeting
be,
in March?
okay, yeah, the first meeting in March. But I believe it's on the 4th, but I could. It's the 5th, okay. I will be out of town that day, so I didn't know if there was any interest in moving it to Wednesday, if that was gonna create a conflict. I mean, obviously, it's going to have any fill in, but.
Don't worry about the building. You got 2 other events going on here. I don't know, yeah, that's scheduling wise.
I've got the building reserved that evening.
Yeah.
I'd say, but I think primacy of the cities that tasked, which, I mean, we try to be respectful, but I didn't know if that was gonna cause any conflict. I couldn't get a flight on Thursday, or at the right time to let me attend the meeting in. So, don't, I mean, that's just kind of, think about it in the next meeting, that we'll proceed accordingly. Otherwise, thank you everyone for coming this evening and the efforts, and I'd like to thank Alderman Ross for his contribution on the downtown, as kind of his liaison with the Admin and Finance Committee to kind of bridge that one more step, so thank you.
Be an honor.
If there's nothing else, I guess.
I have a comment on the elected official comment.
Okay.
Recently, I went to my position over at Rock Hill, right there at St. Luke's, and they informed me that they no longer take cash. Does the city need to invoke, like Philadelphia and some of these cities that businesses need to take cash as well as debit credit cards? I don't know where it would fit in that category yet, but you can't get a ticket or a drink or anything at Arrowhead or Coppin without a card.
Everything's gotta be
That's
plastic.
kind of a-
What is our ability to, I mean?
I'll need to look into it. I think you can pass a resolution or ordinance that requires that a business have cash on hand and be prepared to provide change up to a certain amount. The question then becomes, what's the penalty if they don't? And are we gonna enforce it? But I can't answer right now, but my understanding is we could pass some sort of regulation like that. We just need to think about all the downstream effects, including, is it a criminal penalty if they don't, or just a financial fine? So if you give me a couple days, I can have something ready for
Well, in
next meeting.
Philadelphia did it somewhere about 10 years ago. And other cities have done the same, so.
And this might be something I need to take back to my new committee and discuss with them, because there could be financial impacts for them downstream that wouldn't be approved.
Sure.
I think it's important you're bringing this up right now, because I know with the FIFA, the World Cup coming, that's been a concern with a lot of businesses. We have a speaker at, next week at the chamber meeting, that most of those countries coming only do cash. And so that's been a big deal for them coming to the Kansas City area, because there are businesses that do not take cash. So I think what you're talking about is very timely, and that is something to be discussed, because they're looking at it even larger, that's a problem for all these people coming in. They're used to only paying cash and aren't gonna be able to do that at some businesses. That's not a very welcoming for all those people bringing money into our economy. So I think it's timely.
I was always told cash is king.
Yeah.
Here, dollar,
That's
funny,
something about
All
Pittsburgh,
public
and all
and private.
public and private, so I don't know how they get around that. What do I know?
Anything else? I'll take a motion to adjourn.